What is up, PowerGamer.se? Vi är tillbaka här på Comic Con Gamex och nu har vi sprungit in i en av utvecklarna bakom Assassin's Creed Unity. And you might be who?
Hey, I'm Olivier Jed from Montreal Ubisoft Studio. I've been working on Assassin's Creed Unity the past year. Working on my personal job is working on everything, audio and all the side mission of the game, which is quite a big chunk of the game.
Yeah, I can imagine, because side missions are basically one of the biggest things about the entire Assassin's Creed series. If you compare side missions and main story, how much extra in hours is there to achieve and explore?
Well, in terms of hours, it's hard to say because it's always depending on how the player is going to experience the game. So usually the main story, for a player that just go dash through it's going to take maybe 12, 15 hours, but the player that take more time, they're going to play maybe for 30 hours. So it's really dependent on the way the player is going to experience it. Side content on the other side is it's hard to measure. I think we are between 20 and 40 hours. It's a big range because depending on the way you move in the city, if you move fast because there is a lot of navigation, if you discover all the secrets that we put in the game, fast or slower, it's going to be a different kind of a experience, and in terms of length as well.
I happen to know that there is actually a side quest that has a Swedish king in it. Is that true?
Yeah, well, I'm guilty. In fact, my sister lives here for 5 years already. And 3 years ago I visited Stockholm, so it's not my first time here. And I visited the castle, down there, and I discovered the whole Bernadotte story. So I came back, that was 3 years ago. And last year we were looking for side missions that were in link with Napoleon, kind of. So the team gathered, and we kind of start brainstorming, and I come up and say, oh, I know a guy, he's called Jean Bernadotte. And everybody's like, what? Because in Montreal, Jean Bernadotte is unfortunately not that well known. But the team start digging around, script writers start reading books about it, and we come up with 3 side missions that where you can play with actually Jean Bernadotte and Désiré Clary. And there is a nice setup here, and I'm pretty proud in the end that it's still in the game, and we could deliver it to actually you guys.
So there you have some extra Swedish material here for all our fans in Sweden. But I want to talk about the differences between Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed, say, Black Flag, the second newest installment. One improvement, I've seen the Phantom Blade. What is this?
Well, the Phantom Blade is the new blade of Assassin's Blade. It can throw deadly darts. So it's really a stealth weapon, like the kind of weapon you can use it if you want when you're in melee combat, but it's very efficient when you're invisible to the enemies. You're like behind a pillar, or you are crouched or in the middle of the crowd, blended in the crowd, and you can just target the enemies and either headshot them or just like target them in the chest, and it's going to do massive damage to them. On top of it, you have 2 more twists to it. You can equip with berserk blades, so they're going to start attack each other, and you can create a nice diversion this way and go around. Or no, that's about it. The berserk and the Phantom Blade. Sorry about it.
And I also noticed that you have some like RPG elements. You have a skill tree, and you can customize your character in more ways. Why did you decide to put this in an Assassin's Creed game?
All right, this is really listening to the fans. We all play Assassin's Creed differently. For example, I am a big bomb guy. I love the smoke bombing. So I come in a place, I see the setup of enemies, I use my smoke bombs to go around. But maybe you are more, a swordman. Like to go in melee and fight and parry all the enemies and dodge them, etc. So because we discovered that all our players play differently, we really wanted to push that into the game. So now the way we did it is like we actually unlock the customization system, and the player can decide what they want. In the end, at the end of the game, they will be master assassins. So they will master everything. You are not locked into one area. And on the second layer to it is like because you can play co-op in that game. You can play with your friends. You can adapt to what they decide. So let's say you took your big axe. I'm going to take my range skills. I'm going to take my rifle. I stay back, support you, and I have an overview of the situation. I'll send bombs to cover your attacks. So we can play together and create synergies this way. So that's what's very important to us, and it's a very cool, gameplay element for the co-op experience as well.
But the co-op, that's of course, that's the biggest part about Unity. It isn't, because you also have a lot of story missions with the main story in the co-op elements that people can just jump in and help you. If you compare, how many missions would you say, how many percentages of the missions can you play co-op and how many are exclusive to solo?
Okay, so the solo experience is the main story of Arno, you know, the classic Assassin's Creed story. The side missions as well as solo player. Then the co-op experience is based on two kind of mode. There is a heist mission where you actually get into an area, find something and get out. We have 7 missions like that, but they are randomized. So every time you replay them, everything changes. You know, like the chest you're looking for is not at the same place, the guard position is different. And we have, as you said, the co-op missions, the Brotherhood mission we call them, where you're going to relieve some specific events. You're going to stop a bombing attack on Napoleon carriage, for example, or you're going to, you know, relieve intense event of the French Revolution with your friends, and we have 11 missions of that this way. But they're a bit longer, you know, it's like 45 minutes divided in 3 acts, so it's quite a long experience already.
And I played the demo earlier, and I noticed that I got into a huge fight where a lot of guards were coming at me, and I felt vulnerable. I felt more vulnerable and couldn't handle as many guards as I did in before Assassin's Creed games. So this is a major overhaul, right?
Yeah, that's another big pillar of the game, you know, stealth and fight. They intertwine. We really wanted the player to feel very strong when they are invisible to the enemy, you know, the assassin approach. You hide in plain sight, as we say. You know, you can blend in the crowd, attack your enemy and surprise him. And the fight, it was always like when you fail stealth, you fall into fight, right? And we really wanted to do 2 things. First, give you tools to disappear and reset the situations. So we do that in several manners. And the other thing is, when you actually fight, you might lose. So it's not the obvious way to attack a mission or a situation. You really need to think carefully. Oh my God, there is 5 enemies. I need to maybe berserk one and backstab 2 of them, and then I can fight the rest of the guys. But you cannot anymore, you know, go in the melee and kill 5, 6 at once. It's very hard. So that was part of the balance between stealth and fight, which are 2 of the pillars of the game.
And also, I have one more final question. The parkour bit, which is Assassin's Creed in its all essence. You have also did a major overhaul where you have parkour up and parkour down. What's the difference?
Well, it's actually to get closer and closer to the parkour, you know, the real-life parkour. We see a ton of videos about it. It's actually a challenge when you navigate in a city like Paris, which is higher than usual. You know, it's higher than Rome, for example, in AC2. So, or Firenze in AC2 and Rome in Brotherhood, sorry. So it was a challenge to go up the building and down the building. So here we start thinking and looking around for ideas, brainstorming, and we say, okay, how about we climb down? You know, it's like you jump and grab, and so our designer worked for it for actually a couple of years to come up with an easy solutions and to give the power to the player to actually say, I'm here, I want to go there. I don't want to go on street level, I want to stop mid-air, and maybe I'll get into a window, which is another new thing in the navigation that you have to take into account, you know, all the interiors. So you can get into more than 700 interiors in the game. You know, you can go into many houses, landmarks, etc. So we wanted this possibility to kind of navigate everywhere. The whole city is a playground now. It's not only streets and rooftops, it's everywhere. So we had to develop the parkour down.
And those are wonderful closure words. I need to thank you so much for the wonderful interview.
Well, thank you too, and I'm very glad to be here in Sweden and present the game to you guys.
Och tack till alla er som hänger på PowerGamer.se. Stay tuned för mer innehåll ifrån Comic Con Gamex 2014.